this particular eclipse that we're talking about that just happened March 29th is so powerful because there's these lineup of all these planets along with the eclipses. And the eclipses are the sun and the moon is together with Rahu. And what I'm saying is there's Venus that's lined up with it, there's Mercury that's lined up with it, and there is Neptune that is lined up with it. This is a huge big deal. And hours after this eclipse, Saturn lined up with it. Having this huge stellium means 3 or more planets together, lined up in Pisces. Remember, I'm a Vedic sidereal astrologer, so the lineup is happening in Pisces sidereally. And this is huge because Pisces is the end of the zodiac. It's the end of the signs. So this is like the end of something before a new beginning. This is a really exciting time and to be alive, I think, because everything's about to change. And so everything's about to change from here on out till the next eclipse, which happens in September. So you see, this eclipse, it's not like the day of the eclipse that the world changes, but it sets the tone for the next 6 months till the next eclipse. And I've got to say, we are about to experience some of the biggest changes we have ever seen on planet Earth.
What are some of those changes? Because it seems like when I tune into what's happening from some of your work, it seems like we're going through, like there's this potentially a lot of conflict, a lot of challenge, a lot of ruffling of the feathers. But
Right.
underneath it, it's sort of like this subtext of peace is being brought forward. I found that really like, Can you explain
Yeah.
what's going on?
Yes, let me explain because, everybody, I go through all the astrology. Everyone wants to know, what does it mean? What's it mean for me individually? Let me get into this. This is serious stuff. So Saturn and Neptune are now together and they're in Pisces. And this is like a change, a revolution of consciousness. And I know you've heard this from a lot of spiritual seers that the consciousness is truly changing on planet Earth. And Saturn and Neptune coming together aren't all that rare, but in Pisces it is. It's been so long since it's been in the sign of Pisces. Pisces is a spiritual sign. It's about spirituality. It's about what's beyond this world. It's, what started Christianity. If you look at the symbol for Pisces, it's the fish. And 2,000 years ago, when we entered into the age of Pisces, it started all the Christianity, the birth of Christ. And so now we have this big revolution with Neptune and Saturn. What is Saturn? Saturn's reality. Saturn is responsibility, reality, and it deals with getting the job done. Saturn's hard work. And what I like to say is it's the heavy feeling of responsibility, of things having to be right, having to be corrected. Saturn's karma. And so what is Neptune? Neptune is the ethereal, what lies beyond this world. And sometimes it can deal with illusions. And when you think of Neptune, sometimes it can bring on cults, major cults where people want to, be led and follow spiritual teachings, but they don't want to think for themselves in a cult. But now it's a time of empowerment where people are waking up to what Saturn is with spirituality. So if Neptune's spirituality and Saturn is reality, then we're waking up to the reality of the truth. And there's no more illusions. There's no more of the, the lies and the delusions that have been rampant for so many years. I always get.
Sorry, just to interrupt. Is that because Saturn is guides and governs Aquarius, and then Neptune guides and governs Pisces? Is that what I'm picking up from what you're saying?
You're picking up correct. Saturn actually rules both Capricorn and Aquarius. And you're right about the Aquarius. Most Western astrologers think that it rules Aquarius. that Uranus rules Aquarius, excuse me, but Saturn in the Vedic system rules Aquarius. So right on. And so Aquarius is technology in the future, and that's another thing. We are moving towards the age of Aquarius out of Pisces. So that's the other thing that maybe you're thinking of with Saturn being like that. But Saturn being with Neptune is going to wake up the truth, the reality, and the illusions mainly. And I think it's also going to bring people back to their spirituality. This is so important because so many people have been lost spiritually. And I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about spirituality. In my book, they're different. Religion is, here's my definition, and it's different for everyone, but my definition is religion's kind of like searching for God outside of ourselves, where spirituality is finding God within ourselves. And that's where we're headed right now. We're all finding the divine within ourselves and finding that empowerment to be led by our own truths and not by others. That's what the true spirituality of what this conjunction and eclipse is bringing forth for the next 6 months. So there's going to be a big awakening of people. Now, another thing that just happened sidereally is, aside from this eclipse, is Uranus just changed signs. When the outer planets change signs, they depict a conscious awareness. In other words, they change consciousness. People start to see things from a different vantage point, and the evolution of awareness on planet Earth is higher. We're able to conceive and understand concepts that we couldn't before. This is where the outer planets take in, because the outer planets really do rule the collective unconsciousness. So it's like, when these big ideas come into being, it's like not one person gets them. Many get them all at the same time. That's why you're going to find that discoveries happen all over the world, the same discoveries, because people are tuning into this information that is now available for people on planet Earth. So you're going to find also some amazing technological advances that are about to come within the next 2 years. It's going to blow your mind, especially around the area of healing. Wait and see. It's already happening, because I believe healing is really going to evolve out of the fact that if we change our vibration and our frequency, we can heal disease. And this is what's about to come forth and what I can tell is where the planets are, that they're opening up this new information that we've never had before. And the planet is going to change by leaps and bounds. We're just on the cusp of this. Things are about to really transcend and change. And it's time. We all need this transition and change, because we've kind of been in the dark for a while, kind of been in limbo, kind of been in a place where there hasn't been a lot of progress. And now it's going to jumpstart. Wait and see this eclipse. And one more thing I might add about this eclipse that's very interesting is that both Mercury and Venus are retrograde. And I love to talk about the cycle of Venus being retrograde, because it has this amazing cycle where in its process, it forms a pentagram in all of the retrogrades that it does within a period of 8 years.
Hey there, Inspired Evolutionary. If you absolutely love this, well then here's a full conversation with this guest on the Inspired Evolution podcast. Check it out now.